This is Heather Morgan, also known by her rap name Razzle Khan. Now, it may be hard to believe, but Razzle Khan and her husband, Elian Lichtenstein, also goes by Dutch, were some of the richest people in the world just a few weeks ago. The federal government of the United States seized $3.6 billion worth of Bitcoin from their cryptocurrency wallets, and they're now being accused of one of the largest cryptocurrency heists of all time. Now, each of them faces over 30 years in federal prison, and the government is claiming that they are money launderers and that they tried to defraud the federal government. But how did we get to this? So what happened was there was a bunch of Bitcoin that was stolen from a cryptocurrency exchange in 2016 called Bitfinex. Now, because of this, in 2016, a hacker, which may or may not have been these folks, created a wallet on the Bitfinex exchange in 2016 and tricked the servers into sending the Bitcoin from hundreds and thousands of people who had their Bitcoin on the wallets on the Bitfinex exchange. They tricked the exchange to send all of that Bitcoin to one wallet. They then removed all of the Bitcoin off of the exchange and got away with a ton of Bitcoin. In total, the hackers got away with over 119,000 Bitcoin, which was worth about $72 million in 2016. Now, Bitcoin's price has gone up massively since then, and it's currently worth about $4.5 billion. Not with an M, $4.5 billion in USD value. Now, with Bitcoin, you can actually track its movements. You can see when it changes wallets. So when it goes from one wallet to another, you can actually see that on the blockchain. So once this Bitcoin was stolen, federal governments all over the world started following the Bitcoin to see where it would go. But because wallets can be held anonymously, just because you see where the wallet goes to, you don't actually know who owns the wallet, so they can't actually find anyone to prosecute to determine who actually stole the Bitcoin. Now, because the Bitcoin was being tracked, the hackers had to be very careful when moving this Bitcoin around and when trying to convert it to USD. Because while it's in Bitcoin, it's very difficult to find out who owns it, but when you try and convert it into actual fiat money to spend it in the real world, then at that point, prosecutors can find out, people who are searching for this can find out who cashed out the Bitcoin. So they had to be very careful in moving this Bitcoin, and very little of it has actually been moved out of Bitcoin into fiat in the past few years. That's where Razzle Khan and her husband Dutch come in. So they were arrested by law enforcement who used a subpoena to get access to Dutch's cloud account. So he made a very rookie mistake. He had a cloud account and he had all the passwords to his cryptocurrency wallets stored in the cloud. So when federal law enforcement got access to his cloud, they found his passwords to his wallets. They used that to unlock all of his wallets, and they found 3.6 billion of the stolen Bitcoin in those wallets. Now, Heather and her husband Dutch have had very interesting lives. Heather has started multiple different companies, varying degrees of success. Some of them have gone bankrupt. Some of them she has alleged that have been sold for millions of dollars. I don't really know if that's necessarily true, but that's what she is claiming. Dutch has actually started a tech firm that actually did business with Mark Cuban at one point, who's also a billionaire. Now, Mark Cuban has come out and said he doesn't remember Dutch or anything. He works with many companies, so it's very possible he never actually met Dutch, just did a little business with his actual company. But besides all of that, these two do not seem like the masterminds who could complete one of the greatest cryptocurrency heists of all time.
Would've made hella income, love cash, got a green thumb. Software built my kingdom, this a much better outcome. I'm so agile like Scrum, don't need none of them. They below me now, like motherfucking pump scum.
Now, this part of the story is just purely my opinion. I want to say that up front, but I believe that Dutch actually has connections to the actual hackers who stole the cryptocurrency. Again, it's just my opinion, but Dutch actually has dual citizenship in both here in the US as well as in Russia. And for someone who has been in cryptocurrency since 2017, I can tell you there are a large amount of cryptocurrency scams that come out of Russia. Massive. So many. There's also a lot that come out of China as well. And some people have accused that the Russian government is actually using cryptocurrency as well, that they're using this to get around a lot of these sanctions that a lot of these countries are putting against fiat money in the Russian economy right now because of the war that Russia started. A lot of people are saying that Russia is actually using cryptocurrency to still keep their economy afloat. So it's very possible that maybe, I'm not saying it's true, but maybe the Russian government might actually have something to do with this. Now, like I said, that's just my opinion, but it does seem odd. So Dutch and his wife have 3.6 billion of this Bitcoin in their wallet. I think that the hackers gave it to them because the hackers were smart and realized that this Bitcoin would be followed by governments all over the world trying to find out who hacked this. And I think they gave it to Dutch and his wife to be patsies in order to try and clean it, in order to try and transfer some of it into fiat. And I think that Dutch and his wife probably transferred a large amount of the USD back to the actual hackers. And so that the federal government, when they did this, the federal government would find Dutch and his wife, Razzle Khan, and not find the actual hackers. So if you look at the Bitcoin, there was 4.5 billion that was stolen, but only 3.6 billion was found in their accounts. It's possible that someone else has the other stolen Bitcoin, or that it's possible that they were able to cash out like $1 billion worth of Bitcoin into USD. But their life was not incredibly extravagant. They did have a $1 million penthouse in New York City that they were renting. But aside from that, they really didn't live luxurious lifestyle. So if they potentially cashed out over $1 billion worth of Bitcoin into USD, where did this actually go? Like I said, my opinion, I think it actually went back to the actual hackers, and these people are just money laundering it for whoever actually hacked these servers. Now, there's also the fact that Heather and Dutch's lawyer has recently come out and said he thinks he's going to be able to get a plea deal for his two people, Dutch and Razzle Khan. He thinks he's going to be able to get a plea deal and avoid a trial completely. Now, in my opinion, this leads to the fact that potentially these people are working with the federal government and they are willing to give up the actual hackers, the people who actually stole the cryptocurrency, in exchange for lighter sentences. Again, that's just my opinion, but I don't think that the federal government would want to do a plea deal with these folks if they actually thought that they were the ones who stole the cryptocurrency in the first place. Now, on a side note, Netflix has already bought the rights to do a documentary on this story, so be sure and look out for that on Netflix coming soon, the documentary about this whole Bitfinex scandal and these people having 3.6 billion in their accounts, and the interesting life of Razzle Khan, the rapper, who up until a few weeks ago was one of the richest rapper on the entire planet. But I would love to hear your opinion. Leave your comments below. What do you think about these people? Do you think they were the masterminds behind the hack in 2016 that stole all the Bitcoin? Or do you think these people are just patsies that are being used to take the blame for this? And the real hackers are the ones that are actually getting away scot-free. So leave your comments below. I would love to hear your opinions. Thanks, everyone, and have a fantastic day.